So I stopped at the Salvation Army store this time, and I picked up another portable radio. This one has a great box. You've just got to love this kind of Chinese branded stuff that was intended for the Chinese market, I think. Anyway, that's a bit better. So, and I don't know if this is going to show on video, but this is either yellow or, yeah, I think it's printed yellow. This is the kind of thing, I have no idea when that's from, right? It could be from any time from the early 2000s to the present. And I'm also very curious as to what chip is inside this little radio. You can see the Salvation Army charged me a full $5 for that. But, you know, new inbox, complete with headphones, which I will certainly never use. And they are wrapped up in plastic. Is a little radio. So, sealed with extra sticky tape here, as these things often are. I mean, really, you gotta kind of like that. It's got a tuning dial. I mean, it's gotta be a digital radio in there, right? AA or triple AA batteries, I think. So we'll cut some in, see if it works, and then I'm going to take this back off, which is two screws, I think. Definitely not AA batteries. The whole scale of this thing is so small that it just confuses you. So, especially when you're looking at it through the camera screen, or phone screen in this case. Let's find some AAAs. Okay. There's some batteries. Let's put them in here and see if it works. Then we'll get to taking it apart. So there we go. All right, okay, so we've got the batteries in it. I'm trying to listen for the quantized tuning. You know, the tick you get? I'm not hearing it there, but it doesn't necessarily show up as much in... Well, let's get into AM. So, I don't know if you can hear any of that because the microphone's on me, but I am not hearing the chick of a digital tuner in this. And so, I mean, it's got to have a chip in it, right? It's just too small to be anything else. And, I mean, too recent. So the question is, what's it got in it? It's fairly terrible AM radio, I think. The selectivity is kind of non-existent. FM, it actually seems to work pretty well. So, so let's see what happens. I guess I should check and see if it's got stereo output, but I don't really care. It does have a power light, though. That's, you know, that's high tech. All right, so I am going to get a screwdriver out and let's have a look at what's inside this thing. I should add it has a lovely, I don't know if it's lovely, nasty plasticky smell. Not from the bag, it's from the radio itself. It's really smells like it's been sitting around somewhere for a while in its box. And, you know, the thing about this whole package design is it could have been, like, it could be current, it could be, as I said, it could be 2000s. If it's analog, it could be late 90s, I suppose. It does have have an address. I happen to have an IP address. It is a .cn, not a .com domain too, which does suggest it might be a bit older. So we'll have to see. Anyway, I have some tools here, the usual little tool set here. And let's see what we can do. Looks like 2 Phillips screws. No, that's the wrong one. There we go. So I think what I'll do is open this up, have a look at what's in it, and then the likelihood is that I'll be looking up the chip number to try to figure out what it does. Right, there we go. There's antenna wire. So the way we'll know is whether this is a tuning condenser or whether it's a potentiometer, right? So the digital radios use a potentiometer as essentially the input to input the channel. This, on the other hand, is a very little variable capacitor, right? And so it's a tuning condenser. There's also other neat stuff on here. Like, look at this. Is this a resistor, or is this just supposed to couple the antenna onto the thing? I don't know. That's the same speaker. It looks like almost identical speaker as in the other little radio with the digital tuner that I've been poking around at. And, you know, standard. So, yeah, so I mean, this is an analog radio, but it doesn't have a whole lot more parts. I just want to see if it'd be easy to remove this from the board. And I think it's, what's that tape covering? Oh, that's covering the very fine wire here that goes to the antenna. I mean, honestly, this board is better designed. At least it makes more sense to me on the outside than the other one. I'd love to see a date on something. Can we see anything on this chip? I can't read the number on it. There's goop all over it. I'll have to have a look at that. Don't see any dates. Battery minus, battery plus. That's the speaker connection. But this is an analog radio. I'll just have to see if I can read that chip number, and I'm going to try taking this board out. All right, well, I dare not tear into this too much more deeply because I will pull out the little dial thing, which I kind of like. But as you can see, look at that. There's a full analog radio with through-hole parts on that little circuit board. That's very fun. As I said, I don't dare poke at it too much because I don't want to wreck that little dial knob. But I'm now quite glad I spent my $5 for this. I think this is pretty fun. Look at that. So single chip analog radio. I still haven't been able to read the chip. I will try once more for that. So the chip number's been rubbed off, whether deliberately or not. I can't, I mean, I can make out an M and I can make out some bits and pieces, but I don't think I'm going to get it. Anyway, it's very fun.